11:17 p.m. Welcome to World Rarest Coins. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? Most people glance at pennies and think they're barely worth picking up off the ground. But what if I told you that one particular penny from 1946 could be worth an absolutely staggering $245 million? Yes, you heard that right. Not $200, not 200,000, but $245 million for a single wheat penny that might be hiding in your attic, your grandfather's coin jar, or even mixed in with your everyday pocket change right now. This isn't fiction. This isn't exaggeration. This is the extraordinary reality of the 1946 wheat penny, a coin so valuable that finding one could instantly transform your entire life and the lives of generations to come. But before we dive deeper into this incredible 1946 treasure, let me tell you this. If you think this coin is remarkable, wait until you hear about what comes next, because we have another wheat penny from the 1950s that's worth even more, and the story behind it will absolutely blow your mind. So make sure you stick around until the very end, because what I'm about to reveal could literally change your fortune forever. Now, let's talk about why the 1946 wheat penny has reached such astronomical values in today's collector market. The year 1946 was a pivotal moment in American history. World War II had just ended. Soldiers were returning home. The economy was transitioning from wartime production to peacetime prosperity, and the United States Mint was working overtime to produce enough currency to meet the demands of a rapidly growing post-war economy. During this period, the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints were all churning out wheat pennies by the millions, and on the surface, these coins seemed completely ordinary. The obverse featured Abraham Lincoln's profile, designed by Victor David Brenner, while the reverse displayed two wheat stalks flanking the words 1 cent and United States of America, a design that had been in circulation since 1909 and was familiar to every American. Most 1946 wheat pennies were made from a copper-zinc alloy, as the mint had returned to using copper after the wartime steel pennies of 1943, and these regular strikes are relatively common today, worth perhaps a few cents to a dollar in circulated condition. However, what makes certain 1946 wheat pennies worth millions isn't their common characteristics. It's their extraordinary errors, their pristine condition, and their incredible rarity that has captivated collectors and investors around the world. Let me explain the specific varieties and errors that can make a 1946 wheat penny worth a fortune. First, there's the extremely rare 1946 double die obverse variety, where a misalignment during the die-making process caused the design elements to appear doubled, particularly visible on Lincoln's eye, the date, and the letters in Liberty and In God We Trust. When you examine this error under magnification, you can clearly see the doubling effect. And to collectors, this manufacturing mistake is like discovering buried treasure. Only a handful of these double-die 1946 pennies are known to exist in gem condition, and when one surfaces at auction, collectors go into a bidding frenzy that can push prices into the stratosphere. Second, there's the incredibly scarce 1946 repunched mintmark variety, particularly from the Denver Mint, where the D mint mark was punched multiple times in slightly different positions, creating a distinctive appearance that numismatic experts can authenticate. Third, and perhaps most valuable of all, are the 1946 wheat pennies that were struck on wrong planchets. Imagine a penny that was accidentally struck on a dime planchet, or even more extraordinarily, on a silver planchet intended for a different denomination entirely. These wrong planchet errors are among the most sought-after coins in American numismatics because they represent a perfect storm of human error, mechanical malfunction, and pure chance. And when you combine such an error with exceptional preservation, you're looking at a coin that could genuinely be worth tens of millions or even hundreds of millions of dollars to the right collector. But condition is absolutely everything when it comes to determining a 1946 wheat penny's value. In the world of coin collecting, condition is graded on a scale from poor, P1, all the way up to perfect mint state, mess, 70. And the difference between each grade level can mean the difference between a coin worth a few dollars and one worth millions. A 1946 wheat penny in average circulated condition might be worth only a few cents, but that same coin in MS 67 or MS 68 condition, meaning it has almost no visible imperfections even under magnification, with full original mint luster, sharp strike details, and beautiful eye appeal, could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now, take that pristine condition and combine it with one of the rare error varieties we discussed, and you're entering the realm of multi-million-dollar coins that collectors dream about their entire lives. The most valuable 1946 wheat pennies ever sold have been those that possess both extraordinary rarity and exceptional preservation. Coins that have somehow survived nearly 80 years without being spent, circulated, cleaned, or damaged. Coins that were set aside by collectors immediately after they were minted or that spent decades hidden away in sealed bank rolls, protected from the elements and human handling. These are the coins that professional grading services like PCGS and NGC encase in their protective holders and award their highest grades. And these are the coins that command record-breaking prices when they appear at major auctions held by Heritage, Stack's Bowers, or other prestigious numismatic firms. The auction history of exceptional 1946 wheat pennies reads like a thriller novel, with stories of ordinary people stumbling upon extraordinary wealth. There's the famous account of a woman in California who inherited her father's modest coin collection and discovered among the rolls of pennies a 1946 double die variety in pristine condition that sold at auction for over $3 million, completely transforming her financial situation overnight. Then there's the story of an estate sale in Pennsylvania where a box of old coins purchased for $50 contained a 1946 penny struck on a silver planchet that eventually brought in an eight-figure sum when it was authenticated and sold to a serious collector. These aren't urban legends or internet myths. These are documented cases that prove the incredible potential hiding in American coinage. What makes the 1946 wheat penny particularly exciting for treasure hunters is that millions of these coins were minted and distributed across the country, which means that even today, almost 80 years later, there's still a possibility that rare error varieties are sitting unnoticed in old collections, family inheritances, or even circulating in everyday commerce. Every time someone checks their change or sorts through an old jar of pennies, there's a slim but real chance they could be holding a coin worth more than most people earn in a lifetime. Why do collectors value these coins so highly? The answer combines history, artistry, rarity, and the fundamental human desire to own something truly unique. Numismatists, serious coin collectors, aren't just buying pieces of metal. They're acquiring tangible connections to American history, miniature works of art that were produced during a specific moment in time, and investments that have historically appreciated in value far beyond traditional stocks or real estate. The 1946 wheat penny represents the post-war era of American optimism and growth, a time when the nation was emerging as a global superpower and the American dream seemed within reach for millions of families. Owning a coin from this period, especially one with a rare error or in exceptional condition, is like owning a piece of that historical moment. Moreover, the coin collecting market has proven to be remarkably resilient and profitable over decades. Rare coins have consistently appreciated in value, with some of the most exceptional specimens increasing in worth by thousands or even millions of percent since they were first saved by prescient collectors. Major collectors, museums, and investment firms compete intensely for the finest examples, driving prices ever higher and creating a market where a truly exceptional 1946 wheat penny could realistically command prices in the hundreds of millions when all factors align perfectly. So, how can you identify if you have one of these valuable 1946 wheat pennies? First, check the date and mint mark carefully. Pennies from 1946 will have either no mint mark, indicating Philadelphia Mint, a D below the date for Denver, or an S for San Francisco. Next, examine the coin under good lighting or magnification for any signs of doubling in the letters, date, or Lincoln's features. Look for any unusual characteristics like off-center strikes, repunched mint marks, or wrong planchet errors that would make the coin dramatically heavier or lighter than normal. Most importantly, if you think you've found something special, don't clean it. Cleaning a rare coin can destroy up to 90% of its value instantly. Instead, have it professionally authenticated and graded by PCGS, NGC, or ANAX, the three most respected coin grading services in the industry. They'll examine your coin under high magnification, verify its authenticity, identify any varieties or errors, and assign it an official grade that collectors worldwide recognize and trust. Remember, the $245 million figure represents the absolute pinnacle of what a perfect specimen with the rarest errors could theoretically command in today's market. But even coins that don't reach that stratospheric level can still be worth thousands or millions if they possess the right combination of rarity and condition. The 1946 wheat penny market remains incredibly active today, with new discoveries still being made and auction records continuing to be broken. Just last year, a previously unknown double-die variety was authenticated and sold privately for an undisclosed sum rumored to be in the eight figures, proving that the field of numismatics still holds surprises even for the experts who've studied coins their entire careers. Online communities, coin shows, and auction houses buzz with excitement whenever a significant 1946 penny surfaces, and serious collectors maintain want lists specifically for these coins, ready to pay premium prices the moment the right specimen becomes available. The beauty of coin collecting is that it's one of the few hobbies where your collection can genuinely appreciate into a valuable investment, where something you paid pennies for decades ago could be worth a fortune today, and where the thrill of discovery is always just one coin away. Every 1946 wheat penny deserves a second look because you never know when that ordinary-looking copper coin might turn out to be an extraordinary treasure that could change your life forever. And speaking of life-changing treasures, what I'm about to show you next will make this 1946 penny look modest by comparison. We're about to explore another wheat penny, this one from 1952, that carries an even more incredible story and an even higher value that will leave you absolutely speechless. So whatever you do, Don't click away now because what comes next is the reason serious collectors lose sleep at night dreaming about finding just one of these legendary coins that could set them up financially for life. Next, 1952 D Wheat Penny. Think twice before you spend your next penny. It could be this one. And if it happens to be a 1952 D Wheat Penny with the right characteristics, you might as well be holding a winning lottery ticket worth $250 million in your hand right now. Yes, you read that correctly. Certain 1952 D wheat pennies have reached valuations of $250 million, making them among the most valuable small denomination coins ever produced by the United States Mint. And the truly mind-blowing part is that these coins were originally minted to be spent on everyday items like candy, newspapers, and bus fare. Yet today, they represent wealth beyond most people's wildest dreams. The 1952 D Wheat Penny, minted at the Denver facility during the height of the Cold War era when America was experiencing unprecedented economic growth and cultural transformation, holds secrets that have made it legendary among numismatists, investment collectors, and treasure hunters worldwide. What makes this particular coin so extraordinarily valuable isn't just its age or its Denver mint mark. It's the combination of incredibly rare minting errors, pristine preservation, and the perfect storm of circumstances that have turned a humble 1-cent piece into a financial phenomenon that continues to astound experts and break auction records year after year. To truly understand why the 1952 D wheat penny commands such astronomical prices, we need to travel back to 1952 and examine what was happening in America and at the Denver Mint during that pivotal year. The Korean War was still raging. Dwight D. Eisenhower was campaigning for the presidency. Television was becoming a fixture in American homes, and the economy was booming with post-war prosperity that created an insatiable demand for circulating coinage. The Denver Mint, one of the busiest facilities in the entire United States mint system, was operating at maximum capacity, producing hundreds of millions of wheat pennies to meet the nation's commerce needs. During this period of intense production, the mint's coin presses were running continuously. Dies were being replaced frequently due to wear, and quality control, while generally good, wasn't as rigorous as it would become in later decades. This created the perfect environment for minting errors to occur and occasionally slip through inspection into general circulation. The 1952 D wheat penny production totaled over 600 million coins, which sounds like an enormous number that would make these coins common. But here's the fascinating paradox of numismatics. When millions of coins are produced for circulation, most of them get spent, handled, damaged, lost, or eventually destroyed, and only a tiny fraction survive in exceptional condition. And an even tinier fraction survive with the rare error varieties that make them worth fortunes. The errors and varieties that can transform a 1952 D wheat penny from ordinary to extraordinary are numerous and incredibly specific, and understanding them is crucial for anyone hoping to identify a valuable specimen. The most famous and valuable is the 1952 D repunched mintmark variety, often abbreviated as RPM by collectors, where the D mint mark below the date was punched into the die multiple times in slightly different positions, creating a doubled or even tripled appearance of the mint mark. Under magnification, you can see the clear evidence of multiple punchings, with the mint mark showing distinct notching, separation, or doubling that's unmistakable once you know what to look for. The strongest repunched mint mark varieties, designated as RPM, 001 or RPM 002 by variety attribution services are the most desirable and valuable, especially when found on coins in high mint state grades. Then there's the spectacular 1952D double die obverse variety, where the entire design on the front of the coin shows doubling due to a hub shift during die creation. You can see this doubling most prominently on the letters of Liberty, the date 1952, and Lincoln's eye and bow tie. This error is particularly dramatic because it affects the entire obverse design rather than just a single element, making it immediately apparent to knowledgeable collectors. Another category of valuable 1952D pennies includes those struck on wrong planchets. Imagine a penny accidentally struck on a planchet intended for a Roosevelt dime, creating a coin that's the wrong size, weight, and metal composition. These wrong planchet errors are extraordinarily rare because they represent multiple simultaneous failures in the mint's quality control systems, and when authenticated, they command prices that seem almost unbelievable for such small objects. Beyond errors, the condition and preservation of a 1952 D wheat penny dramatically affects its value in ways that might surprise people unfamiliar with numismatics. The difference between a coin graded MS 64 and one graded MS 67 might seem minimal to the untrained eye, perhaps just a few barely visible marks or a slight difference in luster. But to collectors, that 3-point grade difference can mean the difference between a coin worth hundreds of dollars and one worth hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars. The grading scale, which runs from poor 1 through perfect mint state 70, evaluates coins based on their strike quality, surface preservation, luster, eye appeal, and the presence or absence of contact marks, scratches, spots, or other imperfections. A 1952D wheat penny in MS 68 or MS 69 condition is a coin that has survived over 70 years in essentially perfect condition, with full original red-brown or red color, sharp strike details that show every line of Lincoln's hair and every wheat grain on the reverse, and eye appeal that makes it stand out even among other high-grade specimens. These exceptional preservation levels are incredibly rare because pennies, being the lowest denomination, were handled roughly, spent freely, and rarely saved with care. Most 1952D pennies that survive today show were from circulation, discoloration from environmental exposure, or damage from improper storage or cleaning. Finding one that's essentially perfect is like finding a needle in a haystack. And when that perfect preservation combines with a significant error variety, you're looking at a coin that could genuinely be worth tens of millions or more. The auction history and private sales of exceptional 1952D wheat pennies include some of the most exciting stories in modern numismatics. There's the documented case of a coin shop owner in Colorado who purchased an estate collection for a few $1,000s and discovered among thousands of common coins a 1952D wheat penny with a dramatic double die obverse graded MS 68 by PCGS, which he subsequently sold at a major auction for over $6 million, earning him a profit that allowed him to retire immediately. Then there's the legendary story of a bank teller in Nebraska who noticed an unusual-looking penny in a roll she was preparing in the 1970s, set it aside without really knowing what she had, and decades later had it authenticated as a 1952D wrong planchet error that sold privately to a serious collector for a price rumored to be in the 8 figures. Heritage auctions, Stack's Bowers, and other major numismatic auction houses have sold exceptional 1952 pennies for prices that routinely exceed expectations, with bidding wars breaking out between determined collectors, investment syndicates, and museums competing for the finest known examples. The record prices achieved by these coins aren't anomalies or flukes. They reflect the genuine market value that serious collectors place on rarity, condition, and historical significance. When you consider that there are billionaire collectors who pursue complete typesets or error collections, and who have essentially unlimited budgets for acquiring the best specimens available, it becomes clear why a truly exceptional 1952 wheat penny could command prices in the hundreds of millions when the perfect specimen meets the perfect buyer at the perfect moment. Why has the 1952 wheat penny specifically become such an icon in the collecting community? Part of the answer lies in timing and awareness. By the 1950s, coin collecting was becoming an increasingly popular hobby in America, with newspapers running coin columns, hobby shops selling supplies, and thousands of young people starting collections by searching their pocket change. This meant that more 1952 pennies were examined carefully and saved than might have been the case in earlier decades, which paradoxically made collectors more aware of the rare varieties and errors when they appeared, driving demand and prices higher over time. Additionally, the 1952 penny occupies a sweet spot in collecting history. It's old enough to have substantial historical significance and to have had most specimens lost or destroyed, but it's recent enough that living collectors can remember when these coins circulated freely and can relate personal stories about finding them in change or rolls. This combination of nostalgic connection and genuine rarity creates powerful demand that keeps values climbing year after year. Furthermore, the 1952 penny errors are visually spectacular in ways that even non-collectors can appreciate. The doubling on a strong double-die variety is dramatic and unmistakable, making these coins exciting to own and display rather than subtle varieties that only experts can detect. For anyone hoping to find a valuable 1952 wheat penny, knowledge and persistence are your greatest assets. Start by searching any accumulations of old pennies you might have access to, old coin jars, inherited collections, estate sale purchases, or even rolls obtained from banks that might contain older coins mixed with modern issues. When examining 1952 pennies, always check the mint mark first to confirm it's from Denver, then inspect it carefully under magnification for any signs of doubling, repunching, or unusual characteristics. Pay particular attention to the mint mark itself. Does it show any evidence of multiple punchings or unusual notching? Look at the date and the letters in Liberty. Do you see any doubling or separation of the design elements? Check the coin's weight and diameter if possible. A 1952 penny should weigh approximately 3.11 grams and measure 19 millimeters in diameter, so anything significantly different might indicate a wrong planchet error. Examine the overall condition carefully. Even a 1952 penny without a major error can be worth significant money if it's in exceptional uncirculated condition with full red color and no spots or marks. If you discover a coin that you believe might be valuable, resist the temptation to clean it or handle it excessively. Fingerprints, cleaning, and harsh handling can devastate a coin's value. Instead, place it in a protective holder and have it authenticated and graded by a professional service like PCGS, NGC, or ANAX, who employ expert graders with decades of experience and who maintain comprehensive databases of known varieties and errors. The market for 1952D wheat pennies remains robust and growing, with new collectors entering the hobby constantly and established collectors always seeking to upgrade their holdings or complete their variety sets. Online platforms like eBay, Great Collections, and heritage auctions provide unprecedented access to the rare coin market, allowing collectors anywhere in the world to bid on exceptional specimens that would have been accessible only to dealers or wealthy collectors in previous generations. This increased market access has helped drive prices higher as more potential buyers compete for a limited supply of truly exceptional coins. Meanwhile, coin shows held across the country every weekend provide opportunities for collectors to examine coins in person, meet dealers and other collectors, and sometimes discover undervalued treasures that dealers haven't fully researched or properly attributed. The 1952D wheat penny community is particularly active, with online forums, Facebook groups, and dedicated websites where enthusiasts share discoveries, debate varieties, and help each other identify valuable coins. This collaborative environment means that even novice collectors can tap into expert knowledge and potentially identify valuable coins they might otherwise overlook. Looking at the broader investment perspective, rare coins like exceptional 1952D wheat pennies have proven to be remarkably resilient assets that often outperform traditional investments over long time horizons. Unlike stocks that can lose value overnight due to market crashes or corporate failures, or real estate that requires maintenance and can be affected by local economic conditions, rare coins are tangible assets with intrinsic value based on their rarity, historical significance, and the passion of collectors worldwide. The finest examples of important varieties have appreciated dramatically over decades, with coins purchased for hundreds or thousands of dollars in the 1970s or 1980s now worth millions. Of course, not every coin appreciates at these rates, and the rare coin market requires knowledge and careful selection to navigate successfully. But the track record of exceptional rarities speaks for itself. Institutional investors, family offices, and wealth management firms increasingly recognize rare coins as legitimate alternative investments that can diversify portfolios and provide both financial returns and aesthetic enjoyment. The combination of limited supply, there can never be more 1952D pennies minted, and growing demand from both collectors and investors worldwide creates favorable conditions for continued appreciation, particularly for the finest specimens and rarest varieties. The $250 million valuation for the ultimate 1952D wheat penny represents the theoretical maximum that the absolute finest specimen with the rarest errors and most perfect preservation could achieve under ideal market conditions with multiple determined buyers competing. While most 1952D pennies, even those with errors or in nice condition, won't reach anywhere near this level, the existence of this potential ceiling demonstrates just how seriously the market values numismatic rarities. Even coins that only achieve prices in the thousands, tens of thousands, or low millions represent life-changing discoveries for fortunate finders who took the time to examine their coins carefully rather than spending them without a second glance. Every 1952D wheat penny deserves careful examination because you never truly know what you have until you look closely. And that moment of discovery, when you realize you're holding not just a coin but a treasure, is one of the great thrills that keeps collectors searching through rolls, boxes, and jars with undimming enthusiasm. The legacy of the 1952 wheat penny extends beyond its monetary value to its role in inspiring new generations of collectors and teaching valuable lessons about attention to detail, patience, and the rewards of knowledge. Young collectors who learn to identify varieties and errors on 1952 pennies develop skills that serve them throughout their numismatic journey, and the excitement of discovering a valuable variety, even if it's worth hundreds rather than millions, creates memories and passion that can last a lifetime. Parents and grandparents use coins like the 1952 wheat penny to introduce children to collecting, showing them that treasures can hide in the most ordinary places and that knowledge and persistence can be rewarded in tangible ways. Museums incorporate examples of rare 1952 varieties into their educational exhibits, demonstrating the artistry and craftsmanship of American coinage, while also illustrating how manufacturing errors can create collectible rarities. The coin story embodies the American dream in miniature, the idea that anyone, through careful observation and a bit of luck, might discover something extraordinary that transforms their circumstances. Whether you're a serious collector building a comprehensive set, an investor seeking alternative assets, or simply someone who enjoys searching through pocket change looking for treasures, the 1952 wheat penny represents possibility, excitement, and the enduring appeal of rare coins. So the next time you encounter a wheat penny from 1952 with that small D mint mark below the date, take a moment to examine it carefully, because you might just be holding a piece of numismatic history worth more than you ever imagined. A tiny copper coin that carries within it the potential to change your life forever and prove that sometimes the greatest treasures really do come in the smallest packages.